Welcome to this edition of the Falling Out Podcast. I'm your host, Jordan, here with my co-host, Swanny. How you doing tonight, man?
Good, man. Just putting in my waiver claims for all my fantasy leagues that the waivers run tomorrow morning. I'm not going to say how many leagues and incriminate myself, but it's too many.
I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of impressed myself this week. I was top scorer in both leagues that you and I are in. That kind of impressed me. I surprised myself.
I'm glad it's going good for somebody.
Buddy, I've seen your running back room. It's like an infirmary right now. It's rough. It's rough. But man, I'm gonna go ahead before we get going here, though. I'm gonna apologize to our followers. We've been off for a little while. Life's just kind of been going full force for the both of us here lately, so hadn't really had that much time to get on here and talk about the Vols. But starting to slow down a little bit. At least for me, I know you're about to get busy, but we're gonna make sure we get on here a couple times a week and talk some Vols for the rest of the football season here. And we're missing Billy tonight. Billy had a prior obligation, so he couldn't join us. But we're gonna run through these first three games, and then we got our buddy from the Prairie Report coming on with us, Matt. So gonna be a good couple episodes here coming up for him. So let's just dive right on into it, man. UTC recap, 69-3. I know you're dying to do this one, just dying for it.
Yeah, they played. UTC played better than I expected, honestly. Just a wasteland of a football program. I don't know why they still have one. I think they should consider shutting it down and just focusing on other sports because football ain't it.
Oh man, well, I'm gonna revisit a post that was put on our Facebook page here a while back, just so we kind of got a little bit of a backstory on this. Man, you ruffled some feathers, buddy.
I found it already. A young man named Andy, who didn't like what I had to say about Chattanooga in our Chattanooga preview. And I prefaced it with saying, I don't know what I'm talking about here. I figured that, that saved me from from what came after. He said that my opinion was bad and uninformed. Both are true. It was bad. It was uninformed because I've never watched a single down of Chattanooga football. And it was bad because I was wrong about how good they were. They suck. They're not anywhere near as good as I thought they were to begin with. So, yeah, you're right, Andy. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, apparently the football team agreed with you too, because I mean it just got out of hand quick. Nico 314 in the first half, school record, 3 touchdowns. Started 9 for 9. Man, it don't matter who you're playing. That is surgical.
Yeah, he played he couldn't have played any better. It was a perfect execution from not only him but the whole team. I mean, yeah, we put up damn near 70 points on a team, and everybody else is going to say, well, it's just Chattanooga, which is true. It is just Chattanooga, barely Chattanooga, but that's how you want to do a team like Chattanooga.
Yes.
If you're wanting to compete for a national title, if our expectations are as high, if we're looking to win, to get back to where we were in the 90s, that's what you do to teams like Chattanooga.
Yeah, so absolutely. You beat teams like that how you're supposed to beat them, and that's exactly what Tennessee did. Dylan Sampson, man, the run game even, like, just good God, man. Dylan Sampson, 12 for 124, 10.3 per carry. He had 3 touchdowns. Deshaun Bishop, 5 for 60, 12 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. Cam Seldon, 7 for 47, 6.7 yards per carry. Khalifa Keith, did not even know we had Khalifa Keith. Just kidding, I did. 10 for 43, 4.3 per carry. finished with 414 passing yards, 304 rushing. Thornton, he finally had a good game. I don't care who it was against. The kid needed one. 3 receptions, 105 yards, 2 tutties. Brew, 6 receptions, 89 yards. Brazil, 5 receptions, 59 yards. Offense did exactly what they should have done, and that was just not get stopped.
Something about Brew switching to a single-digit number just makes him look like a better player. I don't know what
it does. I like that. I like and that 5 too. I mean, that 5 holds a special place for all of us, you know. Then we've got on defense. Everybody was talking about, well, James Pierce Jr. didn't get on the stat line. He didn't need to get on the stat line for this one. Did not. 227 total yards.
Limited snaps.
Yeah, you know, he didn't have to. 153 passing, 74 rushing on 35 attempts. So basically they got like 2.1 a carry. Set that man down. Don't get him hurt. That's what we needed to do. That's exactly what we needed to do.
If I'm James Pierce, I'm not playing in a game that's not an SEC game.
Right. I mean,
I'm gonna go get paid next year.
Right. Dude, that whole
limit all the snaps we need. I'd throw him in there just on third downs.
Oh yeah, I mean, God, man, we got the depth to do it. It's crazy.
I'm a little keyed up right now. I got to calm down. But perfect game from us in week 1. Both sides of the ball.
Absolutely. Couldn't ask for much better. I do recall though. I caught it about halftime, and because I was coaching football that morning, and I got back in, and Hype was saying, "Well, we didn't finish the first half well." I'm like, "Well, you're up 45-0. I don't know how much better you wanted to finish it, but I like that he says that because it's business for him this year. It's not well, we're going to go out here. We might be able to compete with whoever we need to compete with. It's business this year. You could tell it,
Yeah.
So, well, I think we've covered that one about all we need to cover. Wasn't much really to talk about there. On to the NC State preview. You and I were both on we were on different sides of that. We both had Tennessee winning. You were a little bit more, I don't know, this is going to be a close one. And I was kind of like, well, I think this one's going to be over in the first half. Or midway through the third quarter is what I said.
It was over in the first half. I was even up until the game started. Well, no, maybe not the first half. I may be remembering that wrong. I'd like to remind all of our faithful listeners that I work on Saturdays, so it's like I catch glimpses of it. But anyway, up until game time, I was still a little nervous about it. A little less after what had happened the week before, what we did to Chattanooga, along with how NC State played against
Western Carolina.
Thanks. The way we both looked in week 1, my confidence level raised, but still had a little BVS. Even it's 51-10, and I'm like, I can't believe we're doing this to this team. Like it was kind of my wake up call to see that we're actually kind of good. Now NC State might be ass. We don't know. They looked ass the first 2 games, but it's encouraging to see us do that to a Power 5 school.
Yeah, I mean they were a top 25 team when Tennessee did it. So,
shout out to Will Brooks, walk-on safety, who changed the game for us. Like it was, NC State's driving. I think they're down 7, and picks off a ball and hauled absolute ass to the end zone. Yeah,
didn't take him 2 trips either, did it?
No.
It was. I said 42-17 as a score. It was 51-10. I mean, it is what it is. I don't care. I don't care if it was close like you said it was. We won the game. That's all that matters, He had himself a game though. Did he have 2 picks or just the 1 pick six?
I'm only remembering the pick 6.
Okay. I know they talked about it. How is he still a preferred walk-on? Like, how is he still a walk-on? Give that man a
because he's a white defensive back.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, good point. So let's dive into the numbers here just a little bit. Nico, 16 for 23, 211 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. One was his fault. One kind of looked like it what other was tipped up. Looked like, if I'm remembering correctly. It was sort of one of those deals where it's like, okay, it's tipped up. Nobody went after it. The game is already well in hand. And
you're talking about the one that was his fault was the one that went over the middle, and it went directly to a defender.
yeah. I mean, he threw it right to him like that's who he was supposed to throw it to.
There's a rumor that Brew did not run the correct route.
Yeah, it could have happened.
I think the announcer said that during the game. It doesn't matter. We dog walked them the rest of the way. But at that point, you want to talk about. I mean, it was still close at that point. We were probably up 7-3 or something, 10-3 still at that point, and
it was early enough for that one to matter. You know what I mean?
High pucker factor.
Yes, the pucker factor to get very high. One thing Nico did show us in this one, though, his athleticism. 8 runs, 65 yards, 1 touchdown. His touchdown run was a 31-yard touchdown run. Dude's got some wheels. So hopefully we don't have to see him use too much this year, but he's got him if we need it.
Yeah, it'll be about like Hendon was a couple years ago.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's quite as shifty as Hendon was. Hendon had a way of bouncing off tacklers, and I don't know. Hendon, it always scared me when Hendon ran.
He ran really violently and cut awkwardly. It seemed like it was just Nico's
what got him in trouble, I think.
It is. Nico's very smooth and north and south to me. It doesn't seem like it's he's trying to make anybody miss. He's just smooth. He's got good acceleration, and if he needs to turn it on, he can. So maybe
he avoids pointless hits too.
Yes,
I've noticed that about him.
He seems very he plays his position very smartly to me.
Like if he's running towards the sideline and there's a defender coming, he will usually get out of bounds without having to get lit up. Pretty much.
Yes. Another good game for Dylan Sampson. Homecoming Queen, not King. Homecoming Queen. Have you seen that?
No.
Yeah, apparently he was voted Homecoming Queen, and somebody fact checked it on Twitter. It was correct. Homecoming Queen.
Good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Hell,
it's 2024. You can do whatever you want, be whatever you want to be. So
that's right.
More power to him.
There you go. 20 carries though, 132 yards. That's right at 6.5 a carry, 2 touchdowns.
Is he still the SEC leading rusher after 3 weeks? He was after last week.
He should be. The one thing I do want to touch on though is, man, our tight end, Tennessee's tight end room is deep. I mean, Holden Stays, the transfer from Alabama. Yeah, Evan Smith, kid wears 0.
I don't know that name. That's Ethan Davis.
Ethan Davis. Where the hell did I come up with Evan at? Ethan Davis.
I don't know who Evan. Ethan Davis.
Evan Smith. It sounded right.
You got me on that one.
I knew that. Ethan Davis. I knew it started with an E. My bad. I'm sure somebody will make sure they let me know about it. But Ethan Davis. I don't know where I come up with that at. Ethan Davis. I mean, it's
Ethan Davis. Stays looks good, and then this Miles Kitzelman.
Yes, Kitzelman.
How do you? Is that his Kitzelman? Where the hell did he come from? Because he looks good.
Yeah, I mean the offense has got a lot of weapons.
Yes, I didn't know until watching that game, rewatching it on Sunday, that the tight end from UConn that we were in the running for last year, Justin Jolly, Josh, I don't know.
Yeah.
When it was at NC State. And, I wonder if he maybe thought about that, if that crossed his mind at all that night.
He probably wasn't too jolly. You know? Another another hell of good effort from the defense, though. They had 3 sacks, 13 tackles for a loss. You mentioned it earlier, Will Brooks. I mean, man, everything's going right for us this year. It seems like up until this point. So we'll talk about Kent State for a minute. 71-0. Really, there's just not much to talk about in this one, man. Tennessee had the spread covered in the first half, but really the first quarter. 30-0.
We talked about it during our. That's something to talk about. That is a talking point. We talked about this during our season previews that this was going to be the worst team that we played all year, and we kind of proved it. 37 points in a quarter. Onside kick up 30-0, which is crazy. I don't know. I've heard that the kicker audible to it. I don't care. Like I don't love it or hate it. I don't think it's people have been clutching their pearls about it.
Yeah.
Jimmy Himes from
Yeah.
whatever publication he's at now that nobody pays attention to. He had a problem with it. People who hate us didn't like it. I'm sure the Kent State gun girl cried, but I'm indifferent about the onside kick. I don't care who called it. I don't care whatever. 37-0 in a quarter, 65 at halftime. Had the backups in the second quarter. It was it's refreshing to see that that's what you do to teams that you're supposed to do that to.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, man, Tennessee could have hung 125 on them if they wanted to. Probably more, honestly, if the starters play. I mean, but here's the thing. Defense pitches the shutout, all that. We know all that. Kent State said no to shortening the game. Is that gutsy or stupid?
It shows pride. It shows I like that. I'll give them credit for that. Yeah.
I can
props
respect
to Kent State.
Take that ass whooping like a man.
It's like that'd be like quitting on your opponent when he's whooping your ass in NCAA 25. College football 25. I don't use that term NCAA anymore. It's a swear word.
It's a swear word.
Death to the NCAA.
It's the real 4-letter word. So yeah, dude. That being said, though, man, I mean, overall, 3 weeks in, I think we've got reason for good optimism going into Oklahoma. We're going to talk with Matt here in a bit about this, and that'll be a whole episode on its own. About 40 minutes of that preview coming out probably Thursday, right before that one comes out, right before the weekend hits. So, man, I just don't really know what to think at this point in time, other than damn, we're pretty good. And we're doing what we're supposed to do to teams we should do it to. Is Oklahoma one of those teams that we should do it to? You look at those first couple of games that they had. I mean, Temple, they beat Temple how they should. Last couple, though, kind of got you wondering, are they looking? Have they been looking ahead to our game, or are they just is there issues?
Now, this is before the season started. This is one of the games that I had marked down as a loss. I said I think we have 2 automatic losses, and that's at Georgia and at Oklahoma, and then we'll have a toss-up game, and it's going to be Alabama, Florida, who sucks, but we have a history with them. So sure. One of those 2 games, and maybe Arkansas, I thought. However, all of these teams that we just mentioned, they look bad. They don't look bad, but they don't look good. We've looked flawless for 3 games.
We have.
We've looked flawless for 2 games and 3 quarters.
Yeah.
Everybody else on the schedule looks like food. Oklahoma struggled for 2 weeks. Florida blows. They're bad. It ain't got nothing to do with how tough their schedule is. They're not good. Billy Napier's
right.
His time, the clock's ticking on him.
Yeah.
Arkansas struggled this past week. I forget who they were playing, but it took them a while to put them away, longer than it should have. Georgia with Kentucky, that should not have happened. There's no reason for that game to have been as close as it was. And if Mark Stoops decides to go for that fourth down when he should have, they might have won. Georgia might have got a loss. So I don't see anybody. I thought Georgia was unbeatable before this week. Now I don't think there's anybody we can't beat. I think this is so. Yeah. You're the optimistic one between the two of us, and I'm always kind of on the other end of the spectrum there. I have completely flipped, and I know there's going to be a huge letdown coming, but I'm full board. I think we're doing it.
Well,
go ahead, Rick.
The only thing I was going to say is with this new 12-team playoff format, that letdown isn't as big of a letdown as it would have been last year. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't. It's not going to. It's not going to knock Tennessee out. You know what I mean? It's going to suck.
You don't want to lose at home to Bama or lose to Georgia again.
Right. But chances are, anybody left on the schedule that we could lose to, we'll get another crack at, depending on who it is. I mean, obviously, we lose to Arkansas, Vanderbilt, Kentucky. No, we're not getting another crack at them. Florida won't get another crack at them.
We lose to one of them. I ain't worried about the playoffs.
Playoffs? Even if you talking about playoffs?
Even if we make them, I'm not looking forward to it. Like I am right now. Like now, I think we've got a legitimate shot to skip the first round entirely.
Yeah, I mean that's where it's at right now. It's just we gotta finish it off this weekend. This weekend is the swing opportunity, and I'm not kind of like you. I had this one as a question mark. I don't think that this one was is going to be a sure loss. I'm going to stick with what I said in the preseason preview for it, but I'm not going to be surprised if we go out there and get beat. It's just until Tennessee and Coach Heupel can get a win on the road in a big game, I'm going to stay skeptical. I'm going to say we can win because I know we can, but I'm going to stay skeptical until he says, until it's done. You know what I mean?
I tell you what, I am going to be surprised if we lose Saturday. And that's not a knock on Oklahoma. Well, it kind of is because of how they've looked up to this point in the season.
Right.
So I will be a little surprised, but it's not a knock on. It's a knock on the team. It's not necessarily a knock on the environment at Oklahoma. I want to get that across. Like I know that place is one of the tougher places to play in college football. I know it's a great, beautiful stadium. If you've seen it from the outside, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous stadium. I don't care how many people it seats. Those fans are going to bring it. I'm sure they drink just as much as we do in Knoxville. It's not going to be easy. And like you said, you were just saying, so the big questions we had coming into this year were the secondary, which those questions were, I think, to this point have been answered. We haven't faced a team that's going to test it quite like Oklahoma is. Another quarterback. Those questions have been answered. The transfers that came in, I love Jamad McCoy. The dude just has an knack for being around the ball wherever it's at.
Yeah.
Good punt returner too. Like him. Mm-hmm. Our pass rush makes the secondary kind of like it doesn't matter who's back there in a way, but the guys we have, who's the other guy? Ricky Gibson.
Yes, Gibson.
He's a good player too. So we've got some guys back there. And then the other question to your point, Josh Heupel on the road. Now that's the one thing that's still back here in my mind that I know I am a little worried about it. But what's the point of being worried about it, man? I'm just going to be confident until it backfires.
Hey, I mean that's.
So I think we're gonna. You said the line was what 6.5 tonight.
While we're recording this, it started at 3.5, went to 6.5, then up to 7.5. I seen on some sites it got as high as 9.5.
I would hammer.
Now it's down to 6.5.
I'll whenever I go to place my bets this weekend, I'll probably alternate spread it up to like 14.
Yeah, it's not out of the question, man. I mean, it's just not. If Tennessee goes out there and rolls and the offense is going, I mean, it's a done deal. But I don't think. Again, I'm trying to stay grounded right now because you know how I am. You know I want to be like, hell yeah, we're going all the way, but I know there's a lot of crazy things that can still happen, and this one's got me worried. If we can get out of this one, the rest of our big games are at home, outside of Georgia, and I think I like our chances. We get this one 11-1 is happening, no doubt.
Yeah. Life is too short to be to hold back on that. Just
I know.
I don't know.
I'm going to put it like this though. Give me about 3 more weeks or so, and Tennessee still stays undefeated. There's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to be able to stand me, and I love it.
I know what you're talking about. I'm well aware of where that's going. Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I've not been this confident since going into Alabama 2022. Like that whole week, I knew we were winning that game, and I'm never like that.
Right.
Sorry, it's already established. I'm the pessimist here. Going into Alabama that year, I knew we were going to win. And that's how I feel right now going into this game. Unless something else happens. Now, another question I have had about this team is how deep are we? Like, can we survive an injury to Dylan Sampson or to James Pierce or to Jermon McCoy or Nico? That one definitely not. I don't think we can survive an injury to Nico.
But James Pierce Jr. I think that's the one spot. Even if it's him, we could afford to drop some. We could lose somebody for a little while, and be okay. Secondary, I think the secondaries look so good because the front sevens looked good. Dylan Sampson, we got a deep running back room, man, but he brings a lot to it. He brings a lot to the offense.
Yeah, he's head and shoulders above the other guys. I knew he was good going into this season. I didn't know he had it like he's brought it. He's legitimately he's leading the SEC. Like he is a good running back, the best one we've had in a minute. I would put him above who do we have last year? Jalen Wright. I think he's better. Wright. I think he's a better running back than Jalen Wright.
They're very similar, but I think he's a bit more polished. I think he's
Shout
a bit more
polished.
Shout out to the Dolphins fans up. Yeah. Right. Tua won't remember.
Good God.
Honest to God, I hate to see the guy. I hate to see him in the shape he's in, though. I really do. I really do.
It's a tough scene to watch. But Tua Tagovailoa's head meets DeMar Hamlin's chest. Like somebody wasn't coming back.
Something was going to happen. Something was going to happen. Lord, man, we're going straight to Hades. At least we'll know each other. So let's talk a little bit about the SEC as just in general here. Who surprised you? Who's been disappointing?
Honestly, surprises us.
Yeah,
I did not think we were going to look this good. I'm walking with a pep in my step, man. I'm like my feet are light. I don't know if you can tell this energy that I've got right now. I did not see this coming. I knew we were going to be good, but you know me, I was keeping the lid on it all off season. I wanted to see how this new quarterback was going to look. Which, by the way, you know what? I'll save that. I'll save my Joe Milton shit for the end. I did not expect us to look like we would, and we ain't played nobody, but we've executed everything we're supposed to do, and Coach Heupel looks laser focused. I know he wants the game in Oklahoma bad. I know he wants that one more than he probably wants to breathe.
I can see that.
There's something about him, the presser, where he's after the NC State game where he's talking about this is Tennessee. We're supposed to have an elite defense. This is the home of, and just names all these UT legends. That's the standard, is to be elite on defense, that whole thing. And then today he made the joke about, it was today or yesterday one. He made the joke about, I expect Oklahoma fans to be really quiet out of respect for me while we're on offense and shit. I was like,
yeah,
damn.
He's coming out swinging, son.
I haven't seen this side of him. I haven't, and the way we're playing on the field, it's like, man, something is really cooking here. So I'm taking us as the most surprising team, and
I think
a homer, obviously, but
I think he knows he's got 22
this is
guys.
the team that I've watched the most. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I think this is he knows he's got a group of guys that are going to go out there and give it all they've got for him and back up anything he wants to say. I think he knows that this year. He's got his guys.
His level of confidence is making me this confident.
And it's not even like he's not even arrogant, confident about it. Like it's very quiet, very to the point. He's like, you can just tell. He's got a look in his eye this year, and I love it.
I hope that he's not doing all this just for this Saturday. You know what I mean? I hope this is a season-long thing. But I know he wants Saturday bad.
Well, how
goes without saying.
How could you go for just this Saturday when you know you've got Florida coming up and you got a good shot at just absolutely beating them to sleep? Alabama coming to town. You got Georgia. It's going to get ratcheted up, I think, throughout the year. I've got to say though, as far as my surprise goes, you know how bad I hate them, but I got to say South Carolina. I think
that's
they're
a good
bit
one.
Better.
That's a good one.
I think they're a little bit better than what we thought they were.
Mm-hmm. Especially after the Old Dominion game.
Right. And that guy, Beamer actually said it's going to be like playing Tennessee. So you thought you were going to lose. Yeah. But that LSU game kind of surprised me. They should have won that.
They should have won that one. They blew that one big time.
Missouri, I don't want to put them in there as a surprise. They've done what they're supposed to do.
I've not seen a single snap of Missouri football this year.
You ain't missed much. They let Boston College come back on them, or actually had to come back on Boston College to win that game, 27-21. So, disappointing.
I'll give you a couple of surprise teams that I'm impressed by. Not really surprised because they were ranked really high going into the season, but I'm impressed by Ole Miss and Texas.
Yes, Texas, man.
Texas is a national title contender, and Ole Miss is a playoff team.
Yeah. Until the only thing I'm kind of wondering about is Ole Miss really hadn't played anybody either. Yeah.
No, they haven't, but they've looked about as well as we have.
Yeah.
Against those opponents, yes.
Yeah. So that's one that I'm kind of. I like Kiffin, but I also know he tends to underwhelm when it matters. You know what I mean?
We'll see.
So. We'll see. I hope he does good. Could you imagine that game in Neyland? Tennessee, Ole Miss in the playoffs.
Bring your golf balls.
I'll tell you this: if I'm there, I'm not throwing French's mustard at no damn body. That shit's expensive. Great value, baby. Let's see here. Then disappointing. I mean, who have you got that's disappointing right now? I mean, the easiest team to go with, and they're not even in the SEC. They want to be is FSU, but SEC wise, who's disappointing?
Can we hold on before we move on from Florida State? All season, they bitched and cried about not making the playoff last year, about getting left out, and then they got smoked by Georgia. And it was like, and then all summer long we had to hear that. In the middle of that, we got to hear, they got to complain about our baseball game that happened. Mm-hmm. Oh, he didn't swing. You checked his swing. All summer long. Just all the complaining about that. And then they've not won yet. They've not won a game yet. So, it turns out that DJ Ungalale, It's my
Yeah,
best guess. I'm not going to
ukulele.
correct it. He sucks. He is not good.
Yeah,
He's not
yeah.
good. I thought a year of rehab at Oregon State might have helped him out a little bit, but he's no bueno.
Wrong.
No bueno. Disappointing in the SEC. Auburn getting beat by Cal is pretty disappointing.
Yeah, yeah. Give you that one.
I would say Florida's not even putting up a fight. I don't know. Georgia's disappointed me because I bet on them the first 2 weeks and they didn't cover. Well, they actually I bet on Clemson the first week to play within 10 points and they smoked Clemson. So I was like, all right, I'll bet Georgia to cover against Tennessee Tech, and they did not. So they disappointed me there. And then, other than that, I don't know who's disappointing.
I'll throw another good surprise team out there, and it may not pay off this year, but next year, give him another year or so with that quarterback that played for him Saturday, Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good one. I like their head coach. He's got a good demeanor about him, and honestly, they had every opportunity in the world to beat Notre Dame.
Yeah, very well could have beat them. I like the new coach. He's a good fit down there.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, he's an A&M grad. I don't know that for sure.
I think so.
He was the coordinator down there. I know that for sure. Before he went to Duke, and now he's back. But yeah.
So we've hit on Florida though here. The rumor mill is already getting started. Kiffin to Florida. We don't want that.
No.
I
would almost be willing to sacrifice a win against Florida if that win kept Billy Napier his job another year.
Here's my thing. If you've got DJ Lagway and Graham Mertz and you're coaching for your job, and you know you're coaching for your job because at this point he has to know he's coaching for his job, why not just go ahead and say, hey, I'm going to throw Lagway out here, and that'll at least buy me till next year. I mean, I would.
Yeah. Mertz has got nothing. Mertz is a Big Ten quarterback. He doesn't look good, and you got this 5-star on the bench who at least gives you some hope going into next year. Get him some reps. You're not doing anything this year. They're already 2 losses down. Probably gonna end up with 7.
True.
Just throw him out there.
I will go ahead and say it right now, though. History always repeats itself. He will throw him out there in Neyland Stadium against us, and he'll probably have the game of his life.
But he'll look like the number 1 draft pick.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll be insane. It'll be. Oh my God. We're speaking it into existence, man. But it's we all know it. We all see it, but we need to shut the hell up about it. But yeah, you're right. I mean, use that as a bargaining chip. Like, hey, I know we suck this year, and I'm not being great so far, but look, we've got a bright future coming, and
right.
He committed to me. Let's.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep him out there.
Back to what started this, Lane Kiffin at Florida is a nightmare come true.
Absolutely.
I've grown up taking losses to Florida. It's been happening. I don't want to losing to Florida with Lane Kiffin as coach. I think that'd be the nail in my coffin. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I could live. I don't know if I can live in that world. That may be the end of college football as a hobby for me. I may find something else to do on Saturdays.
You're like, I'll take up crocheting.
Anything.
Yeah, that would not be. I don't think that's what anybody would want to see right now.
I'll cry. I will cry like a little baby girl.
Yeah, that's not good for nobody. Alabama, that's one that I'm kind of on the fence with. They struggled with South Florida again.
Mm-hmm. Shout out
But
Alex Golish.
yeah, well, it's kind of like, well, that's a very similar offense to what we run. Was it the offense, or were they just not motivated for that game?
Which, by the way, Alex Golish, I would rather see him in Florida.
I would love that actually for him.
For him, yeah, of course, it'd be great for him. And
Um,
it brings that rivalry would be elevated. I think Tennessee, Florida.
yeah,
Anyway, Alabama, they put a lot of scoreboard dressing on a shit salad this year.
they
Like
have, they have,
they've not looked good. They've not looked dominant as they have in years past, which is kind of expected when the greatest coach of all time retires, and you got to throw a guy in, a new guy
right,
who just played in the national championship a year ago. He's a good coach. A lot of talent's still there, but they've not looked like the Alabama of the past. And they've ended up, having ugly scores at the end of the game. But it doesn't. It's most of them are. At least the USF game is not reflective of how that game went.
right, right. Western Kentucky, yeah, they come out. They looked pretty good against them. I mean, they did what they were supposed to do. South Florida, I was watching that game and I was like, dang, man, this is close. Because, I mean, South Florida had a chance to get that game, to win that game under 5 minutes to go. It was 16-14. They could have lined up, kicked a field goal. I want to say Golish went for it. And then next thing you know, Bama's ripping off 4 touchdowns and that score gets out of hand. But, I mean, that game was close. Wisconsin, I don't think that game ever really got close, but that's a game 2 years ago. Alabama goes up there and wins by 60.
Yeah, Wisconsin's not very good.
So
Yeah,
I don't know.
still wasn't impressed. I've not been impressed by Milroe. He's another one who's putting up. You look at his stat box and it looks fantastic. He had 5 touchdowns, I think.
Yeah.
But we're gonna beat the hell out of them.
Mm,
We're gonna we're gonna beat them to death.
beat them to sleep. Rammer
They're
Jammer,
gonna be
go to
calling
hell,
for
Alabama.
Kalen DeBoer's job on the message boards after what happens to him in Knoxville.
I said it. I gave a bold prediction in our season preview. Vols by 10 plus. I'll lay money on it. So
Yeah,
I'm here for it. I want all the smoke.
after what's happened, I think there's one team on our schedule that plays us within 2 touchdowns. That's Georgia, at Georgia. And it's going to be tough. Look, man, we learned last time after Eric Ainge ran his mouth about how shitty of an environment it is down there, how actually rowdy and raucous it is.
Yeah, Eric needs to keep his mouth shut this year.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be tough down there, but after what I just saw Kentucky do to them, I have no reason to believe that we won't beat them, that we can't beat them. Anyway,
for some reason under Kirby, they've struggled in Lexington. Don't know why. I don't know if it's just one of those deals where
is that a fact? I didn't know that.
That's what they say. That's what they say. I don't know. I mean, the way I look at it is they win by 3 touchdowns plus every time. I mean, that's just Kentucky being Kentucky. But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. But I'm with you on that one. I think that's the game that's probably the one game I think that I'm still going to stick with it for right now until something different happens and I have to change my mind. I think that's the one game we'll lose. I really do at this point in time. That's the only game that I'm not like, okay, yeah, we're going to win. Can we win it? Absolutely. But that's the one game that I'm like, I think that's a loss for now. For now. Catch me next week. I might have a different tune. So
our opinions are. I mean, the last time we recorded, our opinions have changed. Well, mine has anyway. The way I'm, your opinions. You're supposed to change your opinion. It's an opinion,
right, absolutely.
you got to change your mind about things sometimes. But I'm on a different planet than I was 4 weeks ago when we recorded.
Sure.
4 weeks from now, I'll be somewhere totally else. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean,
see.
that's the thing. I still did. I said 10-2 just in our preview for the whole season. 11-1 if we get this win this weekend. I think 9-3 is the floor, and that's with a loss this weekend, a loss in Athens, and we'll split Bama and Florida. As bad as I hate to say it, that's worst case scenario. And if we do that, a Florida loss keeps us out of the playoffs. So,
yeah, we could.
I think 11-1, 10-2 is reasonable and very likely, but time will tell. You know what I'm saying?
You're not riding with me on the big orange rocket to the top?
You know I'm riding. I'm riding with you. I'm just, we gotta have something to discuss.
I've not felt this way since I was a young dumbass fan thinking Butch Jones was going to bring us back.
At least hype's not been like brick by
brick. You remember those commercials, right?
Oh yeah.
It's like, look at all these banners. Every generation has their banner years, and yours are coming. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was ready to. I was ready to suit up.
Oh man!
Turns out he was a moron. Jesus Christ.
I still remember that first commercial where he's like, "They saw this, I saw that," and I was just like, and then they show him on the jumbotron, and he looks like he's constipated.
He was man.
But they did stay within 10 points of a pretty bad Michigan team by what they were last year. They're probably not as bad as they've looked.
I'm sure Michigan is this. If you went nationwide, Michigan is a very disappointing team.
Yeah.
They lost a lot, obviously. Another team who lost a great head coach, who I personally believe both levels of football, he's the best active coach going right now. Jim Harbaugh is, he wins everywhere he goes. He went to the 49ers and went to the NFC Championship year one. He's 2-0 right now with the Chargers. But they lost a lot of talent. They lost him, and yeah, they're not very good. They won't be competing for the Big Ten this year.
It's hard to bounce back from everything they lost, though. Yeah. Especially Connor Stallions.
Yeah. By the way, dude, that is not cheating. Stealing signs at face value is not cheating. Now, if he sold that information to Shane Beamer to beat us in South Carolina and Clemson 2 years ago, then yeah, we should be finding that guy. Have you watched the documentary on Netflix?
I started to watch it and I fell asleep watching it. I've been, but I'm about to. I'm about to watch it in its entirety.
It's very good. It's very good. But like I said, I don't think stealing signs from somebody they're doing it on film in front of 100,000 people. I don't think that's cheating. I don't think that's cheating at all. Also, and even up to the point where he was going to other games to watch, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
That's, to me, that's scouting. I mean, that's what it is. Yeah. You're scouting. I mean, but if you're paying out of pocket to send these people with cameras and their hats and everything else, like it almost sounded too elaborate to be true. You know what I mean?
It's a little shady. But here's what I think. I think that Michigan is definitely not the only team that does that. Or school that wants to do that. Of course, this isn't a problem anymore because of the microphones and the helmets now.
Right.
But there's no way in hell Michigan was the only school doing that.
Oh, no.
It was, and they cover this in the documentary. It was 100% somebody from Ohio State who reported Michigan for doing it. They couldn't stand losing to them like that.
I could see it.
Knowing good and damn well they were doing it too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Though it's just the whistleblowers got to get the eyes off of them, you know.
Yeah,
But there's just too much good, too much. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. What a time to be alive. That's all I know. What a damn time to be alive.
that's still my favorite story. I want that manifesto to be made public. I want to read it.
I do remember. Okay, so like I would doze off and I wake up and he'd be talking and I'm like, and I did hear him say that he was never going to make that public.
Yeah.
There, he should. However, did you see he got his ass whooped in his high school coaching debut as interim head coach?
I did see that, yes.
49-0.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
No, not at all. Well, buddy, I think we've about hit on everything we wanted to talk about for this episode tonight.
I think I've said everything I need to say. I say we were just on high school football. Shout out to my alma mater, who looks like they have a good football team for the first time since I was there. It had nothing to do with me, but we were good then, and now we're good again, finally. And then
Highlanders.
no free ads for my school. What else was I going to say? You mentioned Kentucky's going to Kentucky. I wanted to say, you remember when we did our last show how much I loved. I was really pissed off when the Tennessee Titans drafted Will Levis. In the moments immediately following that, I was mad that they took Will Levis. By midnight that night, I'd snapped and cleared. I was bought in. I'm like, all right, let's see what the kid's got. I got on our last show and drank the mayonnaise of the coffee and was bought in. And he came in last year, his first start. He looked good. This whole offseason, I'm like, we've got a new offense, new players. Let's see I was optimistic about it. And in two games, that guy has already depleted all of that confidence I have in him. And I'm about 10%. I've got about 10% left. I'm 90% out on Will Levis. I
don't think you're the only one. I'm not even a Titans fan. Not like that anyway.
It's not even that we look terrible. It's the boneheaded, stupid turnovers. The pick six against the Bears, and then what the hell was he trying to do Sunday against the Jets? I don't know. No. I've never ever seen an NFL quarterback do either of those and retain their job, and remain employed. It doesn't happen. He's gonna. We're gonna get a high pick next year, and I think honestly, Vol fans think that it should have been Hendon Hooker that we took. We would be drafting a quarterback next year if we had took Hendon Hooker in that draft. I don't think
it's a quarterback problem.
No,
I mean it is, but
Hendon Hooker's probably a little better. Probably,
but it's still offensive line.
Oh, the offensive line's terrible. Offensive line is awful.
It don't matter who you've got back there at this point. You got to get better there, and maybe it'll fix some of his issues. But God bless, man, I'm not so sure he don't have a little bit of CTE.
It's those two plays too. Those two plays have ruined me on him.
Yeah, it don't take much, man, with stuff like that. Meanwhile,
can't get past it.
The guy you traded, that was his backup.
Dude, I mean,
he's like a world beater against the Colts.
He
sucks too.
He sucks. Malik Willis sucks. Will Levis is a little bit better than Malik Willis.
One won this weekend, one didn't though.
We'll see. I guess Sunday, right? Do the Titans and Packers play Sunday?
They do.
We get a good matchup then. Will Levis versus Malik Willis.
Not sure that Jordan Love's not going to play though.
It'll be a suck off. I heard just a minute ago that he will not be playing this week. It's likely that he won't be. Is what
right. I wouldn't play him this week if he's still hurt. Don't do it. Or even
you got to win already without him. You're playing the Titans. You might get another one without him. So
we should maybe get together and watch that one Sunday.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's put a bow on this one and end it with a Go Vols, buddy.
Go Vols.